Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and this week we've got a great selection for you guys and girls with a lot of Seikos and some affordable pieces as well as some really cool other pieces as usual, right? That's what we do. 8 watches again, as I said, the last drop, not last week, but the first drop of the year. I'm going to try and keep the numbers more reasonable going forward, because towards the end of last year it went a bit crazy. There was 12, 15, 18 watches in a drop. I just think it's too many. So keeping it around this sort of number, 8 or 10 at most, I think is a lot more sustainable. So let me know down in the comments what you think. Is 8 a good number? Is 6 a better number? Is 10? You know, let me know your thoughts and opinions. And I want to apologize for no drop last week. I was unfortunately ill. My daughter brought home a bug and we all had it at the house, and it took us out. So I apologize, but this week back strong and doing it properly. And next week I've already got a drop lined up, which is going to be incredible, with some really great pieces that I think you guys and girls are going to really like. Now that we've got all that out of the way, as always, down in the description, every single watch is listed there with a link to the website where you can see all the photos, details, price, additional photos under points of mention. Also a timestamp so you can skip to that specific watch. If you're only here to see the Brunswick Midas, you can skip straight to that. So what's on wrist? I'm wearing, I think I've shown this before, my Longines Master Collection 38.5mm. This is the anthracite dial. I've got it paired on a strap tailor pigskin strap. I think it suits it perfectly, and it's a watch I absolutely adore. It seems a few of you were interested in a potential review after a month of ownership. I've got to be honest, I haven't really taken it off since I've got it. So yeah, I think I might do a review at some point. We'll have to wait and see. But let's crack on with what you're here to see, and that is the 8 watches on the table. We're going to start with the Rolex Explorer one. This is the 36mm 14270, a classic quintessential watch from 1996, so a potential birth year for someone out there. Let's take a closer look. So starting this week off nicely with a vintage, or neo-vintage I guess you'd call it, Rolex Explorer one. This is obviously the 36mm reference 14270. So this is the hollow end link and the automatic caliber 3000 model. So it has the Rolex caliber 3000 inside behind that closed case back, as you'd expect. And the really nice thing about this model is it's from 1996, based on the T serial, and you have the original tritium dial and tritium handset. Hopefully you can see that designated down at 6 o'clock. And it's really lovely. It's not really got any age yet. There's a slight hue difference to what it would have originally been, but it's so minimal that it's still nice and white, but it will patina over time, and that's the beautiful thing about tritium compared to luminova. Tritium will develop age, patina, and character, in my opinion, whereas luminova won't. It'll always look that way, and that's obviously the selling point to a lot of people, and to others it isn't. Screw down crown at 3 o'clock, which is perfectly upside down when you screw it down, which is quite funny. The case is really good. It has been polished in its past, but as you can see, really nice condition overall. And the bracelet is in nice condition as well, worn but nothing major at all. We can have it polished on request, but to be honest, I really don't think it needs it. I think pick it up, it looks like it's maybe been worn a little bit, and that means you can be comfortable putting it on your wrist and just wearing it and not worrying about it. Folded clasp, again as you'd expect from Rolex, with everything all there. So this is watch only, 1996, and it's priced incredibly well. The price of these have definitely come down since the peak of 2022, no question about it, and I think they're back into realistic realms, under £5,000 as it should be. So let's show this beauty on wrist and talk dimension. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. The 36mm Explorer is definitely a sweet spot for me. I actually prefer the older models to the newer models, and I can't give you a definitive reason why, but on the wrist, I think this just wears better. Even though they're 36mm, it's a very weird. If you've handled both, let me know down in the comments what you think. But this is 36mm by 44mm lug to lug, 11mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lug. So endless options, but I prefer it on the bracelet myself. So go check out this gem on the website today. From there, we're going to go to the discontinued Fears Brunswick Midas. This is fresh from a repolish, and it looks incredible. And this is going to definitely be a lovely addition to someone's collection. If you're into Fears and the Midas, the Brunswick especially, Your only option for gold is solid gold, other than this discontinued Midas plated version. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now, Brunswick Midas time from Fears. This is a discontinued model. And it is gorgeous. So the reference to this one is BS23801, and this model's from May 2020 with its box and paperwork. And as I mentioned in the intro, it has just come back from a replating with Fears, so the plate looks like brand new, really beautiful. Nice steel spun case back on the back, which is plain. You could have that engraved if you wish, but to be honest, I like this plain back. It reminds me of the older watches from way back when. Inside is a manually wound ETA 7001, so you have your sub-seconds down at 6 o'clock, a very classic movement that's been used for a very long time. It's an ETA now, but it was a PESA before, and it's been used in so many watches, and it comes paired on its Bristol tan leather strap with its Midas plated buckle. So this watch isn't just a gold plated case, it's a bronze composite case with 2 layers of gold plating over it. Have a look on our website, on our listing, you'll see exactly what that ratio is, because it's some pink gold and some yellow gold plating, and what that does, it creates this perfect hue which is more reminiscent of vintage yellow gold watches, which for those of you who've handled many watches, you'll know yellow gold today is quite bright. Yellow gold back in the day wasn't as bright, it was more reddish in tone, which is really, really attractive, and I prefer old yellow gold compared to new yellow gold, and this has that look, which Nicholas and the team over at Fears definitely nailed with the design of this one. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go, paired on my 7-inch wrist. You can see it sits beautifully. The 38mm cushion case is perfect. They do a 40mm, not in the Midas, but in the general Fears, and I have to say I find it a little bit too big for my wrist. It still wears well and it looks good on the wrist, but I think the 38 manual is the sweet spot. So this is 38mm by 43mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So endless options, and Fears have some wonderful strap options which would look great on this watch as well as this strap. So go check it out on the website today. From there over to a little hidden gem in my opinion. This is the Breitling Colt Quartz Black 38mm, but this one comes with box and papers from 2004. Really nice set. Very attractive watch and incredibly affordable for what you get. So let's take a closer look at that one. Now for the Breitling Colt, and interestingly, the Colt has always been a model I have been personally very fond of. I remember it as well, not as a kid, but when I was definitely a lot younger, and I would look at magazines and you'd always see the Colt, this big aggressive bezel, this very manly looking watch, and even the name Colt, it just sounds, you know, brutalistic in a way. And that's how I always viewed this watch, you know, not in a negative way, in a very positive way, is this big hefty watch. And it's kind of amazing that they made it in these smaller sizes. So this is the 38mm model, and it just wears so well. You still get all that aggressive design, the angular lugs, and the angular bracelet, with the different finishes. It looks immense, but yet it wears so beautifully on the wrist, and I think it's really interesting that Breitling did this. So this is the reference A74350, and inside is a quartz movement, as you can see it ticking away there, and that really brings down the price of this model. And this one's from October 2004 with its full box and paperwork, which is really nice that it comes with all that, and you've got that 3-dimensional bezel, which is just so cool. As I say, always been a big fan. Screw down crown at 3 o'clock, screw down case back, and its bracelet with its folding lock, as you can see. Nice milled piece of metal right there, so it's got some heft and some robustness to it, even though it's from 2004, so it is definitely an older model. Really attractive watch. Not a huge amount more to say than that. You know, I think the Colt is a design icon among Breitling. Some people will massively disagree with me, but I think it's one of those watches that I think it has its place in the Breitling family very firmly. Let me know down in the comments what you think, but let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, on my 7-inch wrist. I definitely wouldn't scoff at this, especially at the price. It just works so well on the wrist. It looks good, super affordable, and just really nice. You know, at the end of the day, this is coming on to 20 years old, which is just mad. That's how long ago 2004 was. So this is 38mm by 43mm lug to lug, 13mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lugs. You could totally swap this out for leather straps, canvases, NATOs, but to be honest, I really like the bracelet. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Grand Seiko. This is the Heritage 9F Quartz Black, the SBGN 013 in 40mm. Clean, classic, quintessential quartz Grand Seiko, in my opinion. You can't really go wrong with a watch like this. So let's take a closer look. Next up with the Grand Seiko Quartz, and as I was saying in the intro, I think this model is quintessential classic Grand Seiko if you want the 9F Quartz, which is what's inside this. The 9F Quartz has definitely taken the sort of collecting community by storm. It's become one of those watches that a lot of people have to own in their collection, or at least have owned. And this black dial is the gloss black with that vibrant red GMT hand, and GMT stayed in red. It's simple, it's elegant, it really works, and it comes paired on the bracelet. But to be honest, this is one of those watches that is... It looks really good on a leather strap. I actually prefer it on a leather strap than the bracelet, but it's nice to have both options. This makes it a bit more sporty. The leather strap definitely brings it to more of a classic heritage piece, which is obviously the intention of this watch. So this is the SBGN 013. Inside, behind that closed case back with the beautiful Grand Seiko emblem right there, is the 9F86 Quartz movement. Now this one's from May 2020 with its box and paperwork. It is worn. There are some scratches, but it's nothing too major at all. You know, general wears you'd expect for a watch that is this age. Fresh battery put in, and we can also have it polished on request if you wish, but to be honest, it really doesn't need it. I say it a lot with watches. Get the watch first, see what you think, wear it for a couple of weeks, and if you want it polished, then do it. You know, don't waste that polish when a watch doesn't need it, because a lot of people, they see the photos, they see some scratches, and they go, oh, I'm not going to like that. Look at your own watches in your own collection. You'll often see they look as the same, if not worse. So keep that in context. Get the watch first, polish after. That's my take. But obviously, you're the boss. We can do it if you want. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. It just really works in design, fit, and feel. So this is 40mm by 46.5mm lug to lug, only 12mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug, so endless options for this one. Drilled lug holes to make strap changing super easy to swap it out onto a nice leather strap, and I definitely recommend that with this one. Get a leather strap. If I had my way, it would be a black leather, red stitching from Strap Tailor. I think that would look killer. So go check this one out on the website today. From there to a vintage Grand Seiko. This is from 1967. It's 36.5mm. It's a really beautiful watch, lovely case. It's got some wear to the dial, which is why the price is so affordable. But to be honest, the bang for buck on this is incredible. Even if you wanted to have the dial redone, we can have that done for you. But I like it as it is. To be honest, that adds some character, some charm, and a bit of a story, you know, trying to wonder how that happened. But let's take a closer look. Time for some vintage Grand Seiko goodness. And this is back in an era where it was Seiko, Grand Seiko, as stated down there, is 6 o'clock. Proudly, and that GS logo is applied, which is really beautiful, same as the Seiko logo. It shows that appreciation to both Seiko and Grand Seiko as being equally important. So this is a die shock 36.5mm, reference 5722-9991. You've got a date over at 3 o'clock, which is quick sets. You can do so via the crown, which is, by the way, a Seiko signed crown. Really beautiful, nice, thick, strong case, as you can see. Really nice lugs throughout, and they're really big and bold. So this is 36mm, but it wears bigger in my opinion. And you can see, as I was mentioning, this is the original dial, and it's got some wear around the outside. Potential water damage from some point in its long past, because this watch is from circa September 1967. So this has definitely seen a life, and having some wear, some potential damage on the dial isn't uncommon. And it also shouldn't be something that turns you away. At the end of the day, it's part of the watch's story, and it's of no harm to the watch now. And it can be redone if you wanted it to be done. It's not particularly cheap, but I personally wouldn't. I like the wear. I think it adds to the story and the overall appeal. As we flip it over, you have a signed screw-down case back with the gold Grand Seiko emblem right there, which is actually still nice and strong. These get very worn down very quickly. Same with that embossing of the references around the outside of it. A couple of times on a polish wheel, that's pretty much gone. So this is a nice, strong example all round. And inside is manually wound Seiko caliber 5772, which is, as I say, manually wound and quick set date. It feels very nice to use. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. Hopefully you can see that this looks a hell of a lot bigger than 36.5mm, and I think this is why this particular reference is really popular among Seiko and Grand Seiko collectors, because the value is immense, but also it looks like a much more modern watch than it is. So this is 36.5mm by 43mm lug to lug, only 11mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lug, so a little awkward, but there are options out there. Got it paired on this nice textured brown strap, which tapers aggressively. I really, really like it on this watch, but hey, straps are the thing you can change and buy at your heart's content. The main thing is the watch, so go check it out on the website today. Now, from there over to a 2021 Seiko Prospex. This is the 62 MAS sort of re-edition, the SPB143J1. Arguably, I would say this is probably one of my most sold of the SPB range. The classic grey dial, black bezel, it looks beautiful, and the price is so good. So let's take a closer look at that. Seiko Prospex 62 MAS re-edition sort of kind of model. This is the SPB143J1. Arguably, as I said in the intro, my most sold of the SPB range, with this beautiful matte grey dial and this matte black bezel, which I think just contrasts perfectly. It looks great and it hits way above its price point. Now, retail isn't particularly cheap, so I think at retail it's fair, but on the pre-owned market it is a hell of a bargain for what you get. The amount of watch here is incredible. The bracelet is built like a tank, it's super comfortable, the movement inside is a workhorse, the design is brilliant, drilled lug holes so you can swap out onto straps super easy, and this watch does look great on straps as well. So as I say, SPB143J1, this is from April 2021 with its box and paperwork, and inside is an automatic Seiko caliber 6R35. So that's screw down crown, hand winding, automatic, quick set date, hacking, everything you could possibly want. It is worn, but it's not overly worn at all. This is a watch you could pick up, put on your wrist and enjoy, which is what it should be. And as I say, the value is what speaks for itself with this model. Not a huge amount more to say really, because I've had so many of them. You've probably heard me speak about it a million times, and if you haven't, then there's plenty of content out there on this watch. It's probably one of the most recorded of the SPB range as well, out there with great reviews and great content. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. It just works and it looks like a hefty tank, but in a good way. It's not big, it's not heavy, it's that perfect in between of dimensions and weight that you've got that sturdy feel on your wrist. So it's 40.5mm by 47mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug. So endless options for this one. Go check it out on the website today. Talking about price, we're going to go over to this Seiko. This is a bargain at £150. This is the Seiko 5 Sports Pepsi, the SRPD53K1. The references seem to be getting longer, but a very good watch for the price. It's ridiculous. Even at retail, I think retail's $350. I think that's a hell of a lot of watch for that price. So 150 quid is a no-brainer. So let's take a closer look. Now to the final Seiko on the table today, and the most affordable watch in this week's drop at only £150. I just don't think you can go wrong with this at all. So this is the Seiko 5 Sports, part of the newer range that they created a little while ago, and this is the Pepsi model with the Pepsi bezels you can see. So you've got the blue, the red, the blue dial. It really works, and the nice contrasting white loom throughout. So this is the SRPD 53K1, paired on its original bracelet, full-sized. It's the watch has been worn, it's been used, but it's not been beaten or anything like that. You can pick it up and enjoy it. Exhibition caseback showcasing the automatic Seiko caliber 4R36, which is hacking and hand winding, as well as automatic and quick set date, as you'd expect. The crown isn't screw down. That's something to keep in mind with these models, but to be honest, it really doesn't matter. If you want a dive watch, go a little step above, I'd say, and go for like one of the SPB models. And this one's from circa 2022 with its box and paperwork. The card is unsigned, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it comes with our 12-month warranty. It's running great and ready to be enjoyed, as I said. I won't bore you too long with this one. It's a great watch for the money. Let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, very comfortable, and a great size really. It's definitely on the bigger side, but it wears well because of the shape of the case and the shorter lug to lug. So it's 42mm, but only 45.5mm lug to lug. So really short lug to lug length. 13mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy, and it does look good on a variety of straps as well. So go check out this one on the website today. And last but by no means least, we have a 2021 Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic in 38mm on the leather strap. A great watch for those of you out there who are into your field or field style watches. This ticks all the boxes, and to be honest, I prefer it on the leather than the bracelet for this model. I think it looks really good, and you get the automatic rather than the manual of the other model. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. This is the 38mm black dial. If you're in the market for a field watch, to be honest, there isn't a lot better at this price point, that's for sure. And the retail on these has definitely gone up, but the pre-owned values have stayed pretty much the same. So you can still get it for an absolute bargain, in my opinion. This is the reference H70455533, and this one's from circa 2021 with its box and paperwork. Again, the card isn't signed, but it doesn't matter. It comes with our 12-month warranty, and it comes paired on its nice thick brown leather strap with its signed Hamilton buckle, as you can see. And as we flip it over, you're presented with an exhibition case back and an automatic movement right there, which is the Hamilton Automatic Caliber H10. A great movement for the price, that's for sure. And that's sort of the point of this watch. It is a very good watch for the money. It ticks a hell of a lot of boxes, and it looks fantastic on a range of straps, and Hamilton even make a bracelet which you can pick up for this watch. But in my opinion, this watch looks best on straps, even a NATO strap, and I'm not much of a NATO guy. So I won't say a huge amount more on this one because I think the watch speaks for itself. It has been worn, there are some scratches to the bezel, but again, general wear, something you can pick up, put on, especially at this price point. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, it looks at home on the wrist. It's very, very well proportioned at 38mm by 47mm lug to lug. Only 11mm on the thickness, so sits nice and flat, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options for swapping this one out for any straps you have that are 20mm. But I gotta be honest, this combination surprisingly works really, really well. So go check it out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. 8 watches this week, a really nice diverse drop, some affordable pieces, a vintage piece. I'm working on some more vintage pieces. Bear with me, guys. You know, they have to go through repair, and right now watchmakers, every single watchmaker I know is stretched to the extreme. So do give me some time to get some cool vintage watches. Believe me, they're in the pipeline. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this drop. Let me know down in the comments what was your favorite, and I look forward to seeing you all again next Saturday, 9:30 AM as usual, for some more incredible watches. We'll see you all again then. Take care.